Okay, for this project 5.2, idea is to use a coil feature in Inventor and create something like this spring, which has two distinguished parts. One middle part is stretched more, and ends, top and bottom ends, are compressed. So if we want to create this one, let's begin a new file. Let me close this one. And also a specification is given to you based on, let me just go ahead, start a new file in English system. And the specification is given to us based on this information. We will be creating this spring. So we have number of revolutions for the top and bottom to be 3, and coil diameter 0.25, height 1, radius of 0.75, and pitch. Pitch is the distance between each revolution, 0.25. For the middle part, we have different settings. We have number of revolutions 6, and height is 3, and pitch is 0.5. As you see, the height is increased, so it's going to be stretched more. And the pitch is again a little bit more, spacing between, distance between each revolution. So based on that information, we will begin new sketch on XY plane. Start a circle at origin. We draw a line. And another vertical line, one horizontal, one vertical line. We add dimensions. This time I'm going to add, based on the radius, which was 0.75, I'm going to add that one for the bottom piece we are going to create first. 0.75, the height, I'm going to use 1. And that gives us some guide. Even if it's not 1, you can always create different size, but when you type 1, it's going to be the same. So this doesn't have to be the same size that your height, because height is part of the settings that we will be adding within the coil tool. So this diameter is given 0.2, and that's all we need for the sketch. Is fully constrained. Finish sketch. Now we will apply this coil tool, which is on the modeling feature. As you see, under the loft, you have this coil. Select that. Once you select, you see this one automatically picks the profile for you. If it's not, then you can select the profile. But in this case, only one automatically picks. The next, we have to look for this settings, which are under the behavior. Earlier version was a little bit different menu, but it's the same concept. In case you were working with the earlier version of the Inventor, this has been a little bit changed. Here the method is pitch and height. So we do have actually the same information. We know the pitch and we know the height. If we have a different information, such as revolution and pitch, which number of revolutions was given, we will be using that. Actually, we have that information also here. So we have number of revolution and height, and number of revolution pitch. We can pick any of them actually for the first one. So let's just stay with the same one, pitch and height. We do have that one too. So let's do that. So we will begin selecting now our axis. We have already picked the profile. Now we pick the axis, and setting I'm keeping on the pitch and height. And then before we do that, we need to make sure that we have all the information. Here's the 0.25 is the pitch is given, and height is 1. So that's correct. And I will pick the axis, which is this vertical line. So that gives me this portion, which is the bottom piece. Now we have that. I'm going to use the orbit and rotate this a little bit. Then to see this face, escape to get out of the orbit, select this face and say new sketch. Now I can use project geometry and select this face, and that creates the circle for me. And then I draw the line. Same way I'm going to create this one, and then another vertical line. So this is going to be a middle part. So let's go add the dimension to this, make sure it's 0.75. And the height is not that critical. I'm going to use the same height, which is given 3. We could define the height with the settings as well. So that is the height for the middle part, which is given height, pitch 0.5, and number of revolution is 6, and height is 3. So let's go ahead and finish this sketch. And I did not redraw the circle, but it should be okay. If you draw, that's fine too. Let's go to coil, and automatically should pick again for me, which is dead. And now we're going to select these information, change the information here. Pitch is going to change to 0.5. That means spacing between each coil, each revolution is 0.5 now, is stretched more, and the height is 3. I'm going to keep the same settings here, and then axis, and say OK. All right, so I'm going to repeat this one more time the same way, selecting this face, new sketch, project geometry, pick the face, select the line tool, draw the line, make sure it's horizontal and vertical perfectly, add dimension 0.75, add distance of 1 for the height, and finish the sketch. Using the coil, and again you notice that picked already for me, and then I will go back to the original settings, which we had height of 1 and pitch is 0.25 and height 1, and that should select the if you cannot select that, means we have not picked this one here. Pick that and then select the axis and apply OK, and that completes our spring with the 2 different settings. And last thing, we will be adding the material to the polished look. Let's go to steel. I believe I asked you to do stainless steel, and that is, and the last thing you would do, and then of course get the information under the annotation and add, see what the information gives me here under the general note, and select the physical properties, mass, and mass is equal to apply and update under the I properties. So we have our project completed. I have this dimension, this measurement came, if we did everything correctly, that gives me 0.599, almost 0.6. So that completes your assignment.